Hey everyone, welcome to another episode. This is JR, founder and CEO of Social Market.
And my name's Leon Hitchens. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Social Market. And this is the Social Ledger Report. You've got a beautiful background, man.
Dude, I'm in the middle of the Aegean Sea in Paros Island. I got engaged, so came here to,
Congrats.
so thank you. We came here to celebrate a little bit and yeah, I'm feeling like I've been reborn a little. Just getting a break from work and everything, but couldn't miss another episode of Social Ledger Report because while I've been on vacation, I do admit I've been a little bit bored for what's been happening on the internet. When we occasionally looked on Twitter, it looked like we have a lot of news to cover today and kind of excited for that.
Well, one, our internet's a little spotty. I guess no Starlink there in Greece. We need to have a little checkbox in Airbnb. Starlink
Dude,
enabled. That'd be amazing. Because that's the same problem. Like, if you didn't
absolutely.
notice, I'm in a sling, broke my collarbone.
But yeah,
Mostly looks like a fracture, may be set improperly, but we'll find out. But the internet up in Michigan, especially just kind of around Fire Lake area, it's not great. Starlink would solve a lot. Um,
yeah,
Hopefully, we'll get better. But the market's flying right now. Like even as we speak, like I'm looking at my little chart on the side of my screen here, and man, the market looks just amazing. Bitcoin hit an
dude,
all-time
yeah.
high. Ethereum actually passed 3K yesterday. It's a little below, and then Ripple XRP was flying. Let's pull up Social Market app. Amazing work, JR here. I know some
Thank
stuff
you.
isn't working just fully, but like you're in the middle of the ocean. We'll forgive it a little bit longer, but the most important
Yeah.
part of this is actually getting the data from Bitcoin and getting the data from each of these. Like I said, this is an all-time high.
Yeah, and all of this data is in real time. So, if you want to find a really good way to look at the markets in real time, look at socialmarket.tech, or more specific, app.socialmarket.tech. You might notice right now, some this recording, some differences. By the time you check it out on your own on app.socialmarket.tech, you should see more up to date data. For instance, recent transactions, those are all in real time. You can see where the whales and where people are moving their money. I think one time we were able to pull out someone selling like close to 2 million in Bitcoin. So that was
That's
very
crazy.
interesting. Dude, yeah, that's a
Yeah,
lot of
so
money.
all-time high was 118,667. Like
That's insane.
crazy, and right now we're sitting at 117. The rumors are that we're gonna see 130 here soon. But
Yep.
even outside of Bitcoin, like I know right now Bitcoin is the talk of the town, but really, like the other ones are showing solid growth. Ethereum finally passed 3,000 the other day. Time high was 4,700 back in the day, and
Yep.
then we hit about 3,000 yesterday. So it's the first time the flippening could be happening. Like I don't know totally. And then the other one that I've been super interested in since consensus is XRP. They
Oh yeah.
they were looking at bank charters. They were looking at ETFs. Like really strong growth across the board. Like all time high was $3.40. We're still not there,
Wow.
but we're on the road to recovery, which is I
We are.
think the important part. Let's look at 6 months.
Yeah,
So
February time,
yeah, like
March.
this is
Yeah.
where the last time it was all time high. So we're looking pretty good on a
Dude, it was
recovery
not.
road.
I realize now that it wasn't that long ago when several things hit a new all-time high. Now, the Nasdaq and Dow Jones, last time we recorded the episode, did go into a new record. The S&P 500 too. Then Bitcoin this week. Ethereum has been falling behind so much. It's kind of crazy. You know, if you're looking at
Yeah,
NFTs on OpenSea, it's probably your time now to buy or to consider.
it's showing solid growth, but the problem is Ethereum has just always been weaker. Part
Mhm.
of this too is like Bitcoin's dominance and net negative for Web3 because Bitcoin is just like a digital gold. Ethereum has so many more tech advantages over Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has that first mover status. And then
Yeah.
like you've got XRP, which was embroiled in all of the SEC problems, and now that they're out of it, it's looking like a safe haven for investors. So there's a lot of stuff happening. XRP's the underdog and all of this. Everyone's not really doing it, but I think we're starting to witness a 2021 style alt season. Um, just because like right now it is a Bitcoin season, and it's very strong Bitcoin season.
Yeah, it's very strong. I'm excited. I love Bitcoin. I was reading the other day the Kingpin, the book that you recommended a while ago, Leon, on Russell
Yes.
Brooks' story with Silk Road. Yeah, I kind of baffle at how they go a little bit into that book talking about, the quantity of Bitcoin used to purchase certain things in the Silk Road back then. And I just hear cents, dollars, and I'm like, dude, that's insane. So I love Bitcoin. But as much as we love Bitcoin, we do have some very interesting other topics to cover.
Yeah, let's talk Coinbase Wallet first. So Coinbase
Yes.
Wallet, and I think this was originally announced in May, if I recall. They were going to offer a new wallet, essentially, kind of rebuilding it from the ground up. Um, it's finally hit early beta for a lot of people, and then also they're talking about launching a whole new name. So the TBA is just this whole new app, and for it, it's leaning on all the changes on base. But the most important part about this app in the end is that it's kind of rethinking what the wallet is. It's going to have much better design. I think crypto design has always kind of lagged behind. It's super complicated. The UX is always a little clunky. It's hard
Yeah.
for a normal user to do anything. But
Yep.
most important part is it's going to have DeFi, NFT, DApps, all of that is going to make it much more powerful. So it's going to be like a centralized wallet, but it's not going to like destroy crypto's like core values of self sovereignty and all of that. And then those mini apps really are going to kill it because now you're going to be able to like do a bunch of stuff in there. It's kind of like when you're on Farcaster, you've got all those D apps and those mini apps in there that are super cool. But I think it's just a huge like push in the right direction right now.
I agree. A little bit about the apps or DApps, however you call them. We didn't see them be as relevant as they are now. I think around the first bull market or the first, well, I mean, we've had several bull markets, but the first time crypto probably became as mainstream as it is now was like 2021, 2022 period. We heard that word more for developers and people on more niche backgrounds with tech backgrounds. And the reason is because building them is was a lot harder back then than it is now. Now you have all these different frameworks. I'm speaking from a developer perspective, with my background, but back then you had to use very rudimentary, like very low level coding where it wasn't as easy to boilerplate and well, it required more boilerplating. Now you can just connect to Coinbase developer platform or any other new developer platforms that I don't even know about that can simplify the development of apps. For reference, Social Market was once known as Websy, and we were building a online social app on DSO, the DSO decentralized social blockchain. But because our focus has shifted a little bit, so has the business. But the point being with that is the DSO Websy based platform was DApp, and it was so much easier to build. I built it back in 2023, 2024, so much, much easier to build now than it is back then. So I'm excited. I wonder what kind of apps people are going to build. I'm excited to see the use cases we would see on Coinbase Wallet and maybe beyond it.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm like a little interested in is like, are these mini apps inside wallets going to kill the standalone D app movement? Most D apps have been like standalone in their own thing, but as they move into like these wallets or even like in Farcaster, I feel like making them so much more accessible, it's going to be there. Also, this feels like everything apps. A lot China has all of those with like WeChat and Line and all of that, but this
Yes.
is kind of cementing like an everything app in the United States in a way that I don't think anybody really is realizing.
I agree. I think the hardest part when creating an everything app is the payment system, but anything else is relatively easy to build, especially with, well, social media in of itself is another, but what made it really easy for us with Web was that DSO made a lot of that simple. Forecaster
Yeah.
also enables that. I'm not entirely familiar with Forecaster as I am with DSO, but Forecaster at least enabled people to create a on-chain or online crypto-based authentication system, which is powerful. You're taking the power of almost permanent ledger and making it into an authentication system. I think that's incredible, and it makes UI UX a lot simpler. I've seen a few behind the scenes on what the Coinbase team is building for the Coinbase wallet. And it looks really enticing. They're using a lot of very nice UI UX details, simplifying using crypto. MetaMask right now is probably the hardest wallet to use today, which is amazing because it means that crypto is shifting to a more simple UI UX, and hopefully probably see the we'll see 1 billion people using crypto in sooner than sooner than we think.
Yeah, I do think what
Yep.
Coinbase is doing is really what MetaMask should have done a long time ago. It'll be interesting to see as they launch this wallet what's going to happen, and then, man, crypto is just going super up. We'll see what's in there. Now,
Yep.
we've got another story. This
We
one's a
do.
little less feel good, and I think you told me this, Jr. the other day. Is it reminds you of BitCloud a little bit, but Robinhood is offering what they're kind of talking about, like is tokenized stock portions of private companies. So the one that they have right now is Robinhood is listing OpenAI token despite there being like unclear IP rights. There's also like regulatory issues, and then beyond that, like OpenAI has come out and just said point blank that this is not equity. So these OpenAI tokens are not OpenAI equity. So when you buy an OpenAI token through Robinhood, you're not getting equity in OpenAI. It's some weird system where you go and buy into a company that owns some equity, but you don't get any of the rewards, you don't get any of the voting, you don't get any of the dividends. Like you can't buy into a private company like you can. And they're saying like very clearly that they did not partner on this, they're not involved in it, they don't endorse it, and like if you do want to buy equity, like it requires their approval, and they didn't approve anything either. And then
Dude,
Elon comes and says your equity is fake. So like point blank,
uh,
it's not it's not equity in the end.
yeah, I just find that I'm laughing because I just read his comment, your equity is fake. Oh man, it's kind of fun to see beef drama unfold in real time because for those of you who don't remember that Elon actually invested, I believe, $500 million in OpenAI back in 2018 or something. Yeah, and they've long since gone their own ways, but I just find it so funny.
Yeah, and it's
Yep.
been interesting because OpenAI is a non-profit business, but it's also for-profit. I think this tweet here really kind of encapsulates it. So Robinhood made a fake crypto token of OpenAI equity, which is also a fake token representing a share of future profits for a non-profit organization
Oh
that is
gosh.
trying to convert to a for-profit organization. So it's just like out of all the tokens they could have made, it was like one of the messiest they picked. I forget, honestly, I even forget the other token that they offered out of the gate because I was so enamored with all of this drama happening on Twitter.
Dude, it's so funny. And part in the background noise, there's like five five trucks just coming through on my end. But I think it's so funny because this situation yells to me big cloud. Back then, people were creating their own token and rug pulling other people. I mean, that was one of the issues, but the main issue with big cloud was that people couldn't withdraw their own money. These on-chain based stocks, I think they're amazing. I think the problem we've seen with stock markets right now is if you want to buy a stock at any given time outside of market hours, you gotta wait for that order to fulfill. I'm not sure how that works on the New York Stock Exchange or Robinhood or something, but usually the price will change and it's not very efficient for the avid day trader. The trading
Yeah.
experience is lackluster for lack of better word. So on chain means it's running 24/7. There is no downtime. The availability, it makes it incredibly affordable or very cheap. Transaction fees by nature on chain are low. If you're a platform, you can add your own transaction fees on it, but it's relatively cheaper than traditional finance. I definitely see the value with on-chain stocks. I know Kraken did something similar. They're still working on it. I don't even know if these Robinhood tokens are available yet. I haven't looked at it yet. I think they should be available, correct? Since they somehow released the OpenAI ones, but it's interesting times we live in.
No, I'm not entirely sure. I've been following the story, but I haven't actually checked my Robinhood account. I don't
I
even know
haven't opened
where
the
they
app in a
list
minute.
it. Like, I'm kind of curious where they list it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. No, I don't see it. I don't even know how to buy it.
Damn.
I don't know where you buy or what you do. You know, I think in the end, though, I'm kind of surprised the SEC hasn't stepped in any capacity. Like, I
Uh,
understand they're way more crypto friendly, but
yep.
this seems like a spot where if I was anybody in the SEC, I'd been like, wait, they're offering private stocks to regular people via some weird shell company that doesn't actually give them there that they're investing in. Like, I would have been like, hey, that's definitely an investigation path. Like, out of all the things you could have done, I feel like that's there, but it really feels like they're asleep at the wheel at the moment.
Do you watch CoffeeZilla? Have you seen any of his latest videos or
I
follow
haven't
him on
seen any of
Twitter?
his latest, but I know when he was going after Logan Paul.
Oh yeah, that was very interesting to watch. Also with SBF, Sam Beckman-Fried, but he has been following the scam that the president of Argentina pulled with his people, the Libra, the token, where he effectively rug pulled the entire country. So he's been following like that scam and people associated with it. As it turns out, those are the same people who are associated with the Trump and Melania coin. But the reason why I bring it up is because we're seeing all this crime happening. Is there any sort of follow up from the law enforcement? Well, definitely not from the Trump meme coin, if we're being honest. But with the Libra or now with this, he made a tweet and all of that saying, crime is legal during Trump's presidency, which I have my own opinions on that, but all I can say is, I really think he is speaking from a matter of accountability, where what we saw last presidency was a day and night difference, what we're seeing right now, where the SEC is no longer persecuting anything crypto, or rather, crypto based lawsuits are kind of just dismissed, rightfully so, when it came to going against Coinbase, Kraken, and several other Uniswap. Those were just the SEC being a predatory agency against innovation that crypto was enabling back then. And even today, we're seeing all these amazing things coming out because the SEC is saying, hey, go ahead and innovate. But there needs to be a point
Yeah.
where you need to follow the standing laws. Like, you can't simply create tokens on behalf of companies. The same way you saw, well, the founder of BitCloud, that is known today as DSO, he got sued by the SEC for enabling the platform where people could create all these tokens on behalf of people without their consent. So there needs to be at least accountability saying, hey, you don't create something on my behalf without my permission. It may not be the law, but at least that would be fraud. And fraud is a crime. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
We'll
happens.
see what happens. There's a lot of like questions, what is allowed, what isn't. It feels like the wild wild west moment of crypto kind of hindering regular
Yeah.
financial markets, but also like what is right, what is wrong, what is legal, what's not. So a lot of questions to be had there. We have one last story. We're talking AI and we're talking crypto, which is something that is becoming more and more common.
Absolutely. So we've seen AI kind of transform everything since it had its what I call iPhone moments with ChatGPT back in 2022. Just because, I studied AI back in college, even did research for it too. But back then AI wasn't as prevalent or as well known today. So it very much had its iPhone moment. And now we're seeing that cross with crypto.
Yeah, so we've got Coinbase entering phase two with Perplexity. It's giving retail traders AI driven altcoin insights, automated trading strategies, predictive analytics. I think that's a lot like what Polymarket did with Grok. Give you some context, but this one's a little bit more advanced. I wonder if we'll see kind of like a wealth front for crypto through Coinbase at some point where they do all the investing for you. All these AI tokens is fueling the bull market. Grok 4 enters the chain. It's going to have the ability to learn directly from blockchain activities on Ethereum and Solana. and it's pushing DApps towards real-time smart contract optimization. And then public company makes AI crypto treasury play. The Interactive Strength Inc. invests $500 million in Fetch.ai tokens. It's one of the biggest like moves, and really the first moves in a public firm adopting AI-focused crypto as treasury assets. Like most companies that are adopting treasury assets right now with crypto are, you're talking Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum, some Ripple possibly. Solana's popping up in there, but there's a lot just kind of happening all that. So in terms of the perplexity part, Brian Armstrong, went and tweeted all of this. He said this is the first stage, it's going live, and there's a lot more to come. So it's going to ingest all the market data, including Coin 50, which is just all the top 50 coins in the market. They'll be able to like look at all the information, make better trade decisions. And then phase 2 is coming. It's going to be able to get Coinbase's market data and be used in Perplexity, the response to user queries. So traders are going to have the ability to monitor market activity and then ask Perplexity what trades they can make, analyze like token specific moves, all with AI. This is really changing the crypto space. Like, I could see day traders going from, even Forex, like which is currency, trading, from Forex to even just regular day trading stocks to day trading crypto, and being able to do a lot of cool stuff with AI if you're really smart and know what to do.
One thing I saw from this tweet was that he says, quote unquote, and today this new access to reliable real-time data via increasingly intelligent LLMs will help lots of people make smart, informed decisions about crypto. I think this is something that crypto really needed for a while because, day traders, and not just for crypto, now that I realize, but day traders, they need to find different sources to find reliable information. A lot of times they use things that are paywalled like Wall Street Journal or New York Times, and also, tweets from different people or just anything they can find on Google. So a lot of the times it's so decentralized, all these resources, that it is hard to keep track. But when you create a tool like AI and give it the data that Coinbase is giving it, it's going to make it so much easier to just open the Perplexity app and then make a prompt. Hey, give me this week's biggest market moves or something on the crypto space. Boom. All of this data is from Coinbase. This is what's top, blah, blah, blah. It gives you everything in one spot. And that's incredible. I was looking at it at the Perplexity API, and I was playing with the app. I was using it, and it was able to, pull me some of the data on the crypto markets, and I compared it to Coinbase, and it was pretty much on the same level. So that's awesome. I feel like if someone creates an app that kind of gives you everything you need to know as far as any particular asset, and is powered by an LLM, and we can verify that the LLM is not full of shit, then that's an incredible tool that we can use.
Yeah, it's going to change crypto trading. It's going to help people enter this, and then it's going to help people make better decisions, which I think in the end will help crypto across the board, where you have everyone kind of trading in a manner. I'm kind of curious how accurate Perplexity will be, but all of these AIs are getting plugged in with like real-time data, and I love that they're plugging into crypto as one of the first ones. So we'll see kind of what happens. Any other thoughts on any of the topics this week?
Yeah, so one more thing I wanted to say is you mentioned Grok, how it's actually now going to be on chain. So that's exciting. We're already seeing that on Polymarket, and I think it's really cool because Polymarket gives you almost the same kind of capabilities that Coinbase is with giving you its data. You can go to Grok right now, you can say, hey, give me some of the trending Polymarket trades or whatever, and it will. You remember the Mecha Hitler or whatever comments it was saying, like Grok was saying so.
Yeah, Grok went a little insane and had data from like 4chan and was saying like people were Hitler and everything. It just hallucinated to no end.
So that was another thing that happened this week, which I thought was very interesting. It was funny as well. I was just on the beach reading it, and I'm like, dude, what is happening with Twitter?
Well, it reminds me of when Gemini was rewashing history and like George Washington could only be black, and all of this. It like
Oh,
went a little
that's
too
right.
far in like generating images, and like the hey, generate me an image, and it was like everybody was Indian. It was just like too much. Like this is not the same thing, but Grok was just like full on like white supremacy and racism to a T, and
Yep.
everyone's just kind of like, whoa, where did this data come from? And there's cesspools in the internet that just people will say anything, and 4chan is one of them. So like
Yeah.
it's a careful line of like feed it the right data, but also what data is it getting? And humans are quite vile creatures. Like just each of us has some pretty dark and nasty thoughts from day to day, and some people put them out on the internet.
Dude, yeah. One more thing I'll say is apparently the Grok 4 model, I think is the new one, it's supposed to be as smart as a physics PhD student. So that's really incredible. The fact that it knows, I don't know the current capabilities on other LLMs, but the fact that it's supposed to do better or perform better on a PhD test than a physics student on relevant topics like I don't know. I don't have a PhD background on physics, but anything physics related, I guess.
Yeah, it's a really interesting thing as you kind of like look and think about what's happening, because they're getting smarter than us. They're getting better than us, and I know Grok 4 like beat even like Claude. It beat like the O3, it beat Gemini. There's a really great chart out there, and I'll have to put it in the show notes. That it just like
Yeah.
blast pie everybody else, and it's more efficient and everything.
Dude, yeah. Um, check out more on the comments for any links, any stories that we talked about.
I've got a question for everybody. So I
Cool.
want to know, like, just for every listener that went through this, like, which side are you on? Are you a Bitcoin maximalist, an ETH optimist, or just a AI crypto degen? I'd love if you dropped in the comments, your
Yes.
hottest take and your opinion on everything. And beyond that, subscribe to the Boost Network on YouTube. You can find the Social Ledger Report on Apple Podcast and every podcast player that you listen on.
So check out app.socialmarket.tech to stay up to date on the weekly moves on crypto. All in one place. You can keep track of the inflation, whether it's bull market. But yeah, check out the app and let us know what you think on the comments.
Sounds good. All right. Bye.
Take care.